I'm the Canadian cooking in the USA, eh? And welcome back to my kitchen. And my kitchen in Viva Las Vegas. Thank you very much, thank you very much. I have built, just for the occasion, my own Vince Lombardi trophy. Well, you know, it was a fun thing to do. Did you know it's 22 inches tall? Fact. So this little baby is going to be at the back of the kitchen. Follow me today as I start off a series kicking off Crunchies and Munchies, Canada style. And today, oh, you are going to just go, what is she making? It's favorite in Canadians' pantry. I'm going to attempt to make it here. See you in a bit. Okay, so here in the United States, if you've been here a while, you'll notice a few things are very different than in Canada, including little ketchup packs. I don't know if you've noticed, but I have, and making that this is a educational and a learning channel as well. Let's just have a look at this up close, because I've got some viewers in Canada that might have never seen one of these. This is an American or a USA ketchup pack. They're called dip and squeeze. See that? You can tear them on the top and then you squeeze it on whatever you want. Or you open it. Oops, I almost dropped it. You peel it from the bottom, take off the lid, and you dip. I thought that was kind of neat. Anyways, we are going to be using ketchup packs, and I have collected over a period of time plenty of them. I've in fact filled an entire bowl just for the Super Bowl. If you're wondering how that's related, one of the original footballs was actually made out of pig skins. So go figure. As I'm getting the potatoes ready, it's a good idea to have a pot of water. That's filtered water. You don't want it tasting like chlorine, so make sure your water is filtered. And add to it a little bit of lemon juice. Not only will that keep the potatoes lighter color, that'll give them that instant zing when you go to bite into them. And that's a secret, by the way. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So essentially today in the kitchen, we are going to convert these potatoes, that's a CFL and a common football term when there's, okay, anyways, we're going to convert these potatoes, do you like the design, with these ketchups. In Canada, one of the favorite chips is a ketchup chip. So I'm going to make something like ketchup chip. And being that both teams that are facing off in the Super Bowl this year are wearing red jerseys, what an excellent color for a presentation when you're having guests. So ketchup chips. Be right back. Okay, so to start, you are going to need to decide what kind of potatoes you want, what you want to do with the skins, whether you want to peel them or not, or just scrub them up and slice them relatively thin through a mandolin. Now, if you don't have a mandolin, you can alternatively use and test your cutting knife skills, or dun, 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 what every personal favorite is of mine, my special appliance, is this apple peeler slicer corer. This is more than just doing vegetable tricks with apples on it. You can put potatoes on here. I give you permission to try. Use one of these with your potatoes next time. You just simply put your potato on there, run it through do you see where that will make the tater, and you'll end up with these tater tot equivalents. And then this little thing is adjustable on the side, whether you choose to skin your potatoes with it or not. I've put it in the reclined position so I'm not having it work for today. Then you just make sure it's attached, and there you go. I'm going to zip 8 because not only is it the Super Bowl 58, but this is a good batch number to work with. So you can multiply 8 and scale up your batch depending on how many guests you have and how many trays and batches you plan to make. Okay, so I'm going to scrub these up and I'll get started with my apple peeler slicer corer. If that was a little fast and you wonder what am I doing, here's your potato. Put it on the tines. You kind of point it so that it can drive it forward. Then you give the little handle a crank. This is the fun part. This is so fun. You have no idea how satisfying this actually is. And then you just kind of watch it go. Isn't that fun? And then you slide off the little spiral part. Now later on I'm going to use a knife and cut them. But I'm just going to keep them spiral like that because it's like party. That is so fun. And then I'm putting them in my water with the lemon juice. I think I measured 2 tablespoons of lemon juice into this because I'm going to make a larger batch. And then the little tater tot. It's a big tater tot, but I can slightly thin or make them as thick as I want and season these for the same kind of concept or even future different kind of things like tachos, but that's another story and another time and place. Meanwhile, there you saw one being done. I'll finish these rest. Okay. So as you can see, 8 potatoes is quite a bit in a little pot. I'm now going to quickly boil these or bring them up to a temperature for 3 minutes or less. It's really important. I don't want to overcook them. I just want them to taste so that they do not have that rawness about them. So these aren't quite soft yet. But I was thinking, if any of you have an air fryer, for instance, you might want to try this and then let me know in the comment section below what you think or how that might work instead. This takes a little bit of a long time, but if you do have an air fryer or something other than conventional method of making chips, let me know. I really appreciate that. So in a minute, we're going to strain those potatoes now that they've softened just a little bit. And we are now going to ice them, just like athletes after a game. They're going to chill for a while. Woo, this one's already starting to crack. I'm going to get my ice water ready. Here they are, chilling. Just give that a minute until they're nice and cool all over again. We'll let them rest. That's important. Now here's what I use to make what tastes kind of like tomato ketchup chips. Now I'm using 1/2 teaspoon of smoked paprika. That gives it a nice bacony, barbecue-like flavor. Granulated onion powder. We're going to use a magic bullet in a minute and make it nice and fine. And Montreal steak seasoning. Now, if you can find the 50% or less salt one, that might be better if you're watching your salt, because this is pretty salty. We're going to mix this and this and this, and 1 pack of crushed red pepper. That gives it that chemical heat in your mouth. So we're going to blend those in a moment together before we add it to our liquid components, which we will combine and then drizzle on our potatoes. There. That was fun. Now, if you don't have a blender or a processor or something that can just crush that up really fast, you can do it the old-fashioned way, like I used to be doing before we got that new little gizmo. You can always put your seasonings in a zippy bag and smack it with a hammer going outside. But remember to be careful and watch the warnings, like they put warnings on a hammer. But no, really, it's always good to be safe. But you can smack your seasonings into a nice powder and it'll be just fine. Okay, so remember all those little packets of little ketchups? Well, it's going to take me a moment to pour them or transfer them into a little mixing bowl. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that right now. Wow, that was a lot of ketchup packs. But all of that has now made 2 cups of working ketchup sauce. And I'm now going to sprinkle in my seasonings, and I'm just going to let this blend and rehydrate. So in other words, I'm giving it a chance to reabsorb some of the moisture from the ketchup. I'll put in a little at a time. Yeah, this is going to be good. Okay, I'm going to give that a minute and I'm going to prepare my pans. Now you can use a cooking pan or a tray. I'm just going to use a pizza tray because they're curly and they have a tendency to just kind of round up and keep to their shape. So what you use, it's up to you. But I'm going to put a little bit of margarine on the bottom so the potatoes don't stick when I invert the bowl as they're ready to go on. Okay, so just drizzle it on the top. Just dab and drizzle, dab and drizzle, dab and drizzle, dab and drizzle. Try to get the sauce on each of the chip. Now if I spread this out a bit more, they're going to come together and mush them a little bit so they get better covered. It's a little messy at this part, but just do your best to get it around, sort of like a pizza. Doesn't that look nice? And remember those tater tots, those middles? I'm putting the last ones into the little sauce, roll them around, and get them totally coated, and then I'm going to add them back to the pans. Okay, there's the middles. They're added back to the potatoes. And now they are ready to go into the oven once it's preheat to 300 degrees Fahrenheit. And then we'll watch them for about 20 minutes and then they should be done. They might need a little more time, but you just have to keep checking. They're done. And they're nice and crispy. Now they're still hot. But you see how they've crisped up? I put them in a little hotter temperature and I separated them out, and that helped. In fact, I cranked up the temperature to just over 350. That's really good. See how nice, and they're finger food now. I'm gonna try another one. They're good hot. They'll even be better when they're cooled down a bit more. So there you have it. We have San Francisco and Kansas City Chiefs playing off for the Super Bowl this coming up 2 weeks from now. In order to get ready, I've suggested a head start for you. Try some yummy little crispy fingers. These are really good if you have extra ketchup and wondering what to do. If you need any more, use it as a dip. So just saying, mark your calendars, game day 2 weeks from now on February 11. So now you know, the Sphere has made it an official announcement who's playing who this Super Bowl. Well, I hope you had a good time, and thank you for joining me in the kitchen if you followed me to this point. With the Super Bowl 58 around the corner, I hope you're starting to think about what to have. Celebrate with your family, celebrate with a friend. And if you still haven't met your neighbors, maybe now might be a good time to just say hello and see who's across the fence. Until next time, take care. Au revoir.